You're listening to the Electronic Media Collective Podcast Network. Yeah, it's a mouthful. For more great shows like the one you're about to enjoy, visit electronicmediacollective.com. And now, our feature presentation.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Comics with My Kids. I'm your host, Matt D, and with me today is...
Melody D.
All right. Well, Melody, today we're going to talk a little bit about Wonder Woman. And
Actually, her name's Diana.
Yes.
She is not Wonder Woman yet. She's just a kid in the story.
Okay. So what's the name of the book we're reading?
Diana, Princess of the Amazons.
Yep. And it's written by Shannon Hale with her husband, Dean Hale. And the art is by Victoria Ying. Now, Diana, Princess of the Amazon is part of DC Comics' new line of young adult novels. This book in particular talks about Wonder Woman when she was a kid and one of the adventures that she got on the island while growing up there. Most particular, it helps teach kids on how to make friends and about being responsible for themselves.
She's on Themyscira. That's the name of the island.
Yes, she's on the island Themyscira, which is part of the Paradise Islands. All right, Melody. So why don't you go ahead and dive into the book and tell me a little bit about Princess Diana?
All right, well, this book, she's the only kid in Themyscira. And there's lots of animals for her to explore and plenty of things to do for kids like her. But she's the only kid.
How does that make her feel, being the only kid on the island?
Well, she feels pretty happy at these first few pages.
Okay.
You can see that she jumps, rolls, does a flip, and flats into the ocean, takes a little dive, swims with some dolphins, then runs with a cheetah.
Wow, that sounds pretty cool. I wouldn't mind being able to do that, swim with the dolphins and run with the cheetah.
At one time, she was climbing a tree, saw a little birdie practicing how to fly, and it went squawk.
Okay.
Now, normally adults here, they only fight. But when she was little, there was lots of pictures of her and her mom when she was young. But there's no pictures of her now. And now her mom's not really paying attention to her. She's more like just talking to parents and doing other stuff like what parents would do. And then she gets super annoyed and leaves.
Well, why is it that she isn't paying attention? Isn't that because her mom's somebody important? Who is her mom?
Yes, now, let me just back up. This story is kind of weird because Diana was made out of clay.
Well, before you do that, let's talk a little bit about who Diana's mom is.
Diana's mom...
Diana's mom, I know it's kind of hard to say, but her name is Hippolyta.
Yeah,
and she's the queen of the Amazons. And the reason why she's so busy is because she has her queenly responsibilities.
Yeah, but right now she's only talking to parents.
Yeah. Well, other Amazons.
Yeah. But now, one time, she used to be good at throwing rocks very far. And this time, she was like, watch this, to one girl, and she tossed one and broke a pot that had lots of water in it.
Oh, no. And then what happened?
Then someone told on her.
Yeah. Well, it's not really wise to throw rocks.
Well, she was going to play a little ball game with her mom, but now she had to work before she did that. And she was going to the fighting zone and about to fight the wall, but then she's like, I'm the only kid, I'm just going to go. And so she went off.
Wait, what do you mean fighting zone? What are you talking about?
Well, lots of adults like to fight in this. So,
they're practicing, they're training, they're not fighting.
Yeah. Well, they're practicing, training against each other, training for fights, and then she meets the clay girl, who has lots of clay.
Oh, you mean the girl who is doing pottery?
Yeah. And she asked her, have you seen my mom? And the pottery girl, she said no. And Diana picked up a ball and hit the thing that went dong ding whenever you would hit it. And she was going to play with her mom, but she just hit it herself and then it fell down. And then one of her older cousins, basically, well, they came to her dolls and she said, I remember when we would play with these, and then backed off. But they were playing for a little bit and then she backed off. But then later, she went to one place.
What's the one place? Can you describe it?
She went to this place where if she just opened up the door, she would go to her mom's office when she was going to tell her something.
Okay, so she's basically in the palace.
Yeah, and she was going to tell her mom something, and she was, Mom! But her mom was not there.
Yeah. Where was her mom?
Oh, I don't know, because it didn't say.
Yeah. Diana's really lonely now, so what is she trying to do? I mean...
Well, now she's trying to do something.
What's that something?
So she went to the one girl.
Okay, you can't just say the one.
The pottery girl.
Okay.
And she was mashing clay, and she started telling her the story of how she was born. She was just...
Who's she?
Diana.
Okay, well, sorry, Mel, but you can't just start throwing these pronouns in. You have to establish who the person is.
Yeah, well, now she's talking about it. She made a little, like, baby-looking thing out of clay, and she said that her mom would just blow on it, and she'd turn real, but since it got a crack, she just smashed it. But Diana made a clay herself and asked if she could keep it, and she said, and the pottery girl said, of course. Once she heard the story of how she was made, she went to the beach. She took her clay, placed it on sand after she dug a hole, and put sand on it, then formed it into a body. Then she blew on it.
Oh, so she was trying to make a friend herself. Quite literally making a friend by doing the same thing that her mom did.
It did not come alive, but someone basically from a different dimension kind of looked like her sculpture. But she named it.
Oh, so her sculpture actually does show up then?
Moana. No, Dad.
Oh yeah, they're right there on that page. You see that there's Mona who looks like sand and clay, and then there's Wonder Woman.
But she's not that sculpture, Dad.
Oh, but we don't want to give away the endings.
I'll still tell.
So chapter 1 basically establishes that Princess Diana is kind of lonely, and she ends up literally making a friend. Chapter 2 starts off, and we see that she's now talking to her friend. So why don't you tell us a little bit about her friend?
She's like a kid like her. She's kind of bad. She wants to do bad things, so she keeps things secret, and since she found out about Diana's mom, she didn't want to go near her for some odd reason, and she kept it secret, and she said she'd leave out a red flag in her room, and she was walking back and forth for probably like a minute, and then she was like, leave. And then she heard think, and she ran over to the window and said, you made it! Barely. Because that's what Mona said. And then Mona said she ate a berry. Now, Diana had to do studying the next day, and Mona was underneath the bed and really hidden to the shadows.
Is Mona there to help her with her homework, or is she more of a distraction?
She just sits around, and she's just in a room and sits around while she does studies. But then they, when she was off of her studies, they went to the beach and wondered, and the water melt her away? But nope, it didn't. And then they almost got noticed by the pottery girl and some other one, which it never mentioned the other person's name, just another Amazon.
Okay.
And they were talking, and then Mo tried to be the pottery girl who was talking, and they were being silly, and then Mona fell over laughing.
So what was Mona and Diana doing then? Were they making like jokes or playing games?
Nope, they were pretending to be the pottery girl and the other Amazon, and they were having fun, and then Mona fell over laughing. And then next, this is the part where it really tells you how Mona's bad. She stole potatoes.
Oh. Are they potatoes? I thought they were pomegranates.
Nope, they're potatoes.
Oh, okay. So Mona kind of does mischievous stuff then, right? Causes a lot of trouble.
Probably shouldn't give away her real name.
No, we shouldn't give away her real name.
Well, why? If I'm just gonna go into the back of the book soon.
Well, no, we'll stop. We'll stop talking about the book around chapter 2. That way, it leaves it more open for people to kind of buy
Dad,
the book and read it.
We're in chapter 2.
Yes, I know. When we get to the end of chapter 2, we'll stop so much talking about the story. Talk more general things about what you liked about the book.
Okay, and well, somebody told on Diana, which we already said, but Mona figured it out, and she's like, so mean. And then she's like, don't bother her, because that's what Diana said, because she might get in more trouble. But this time, she was like, don't throw that at her, because she was holding something that looks like bread. And she was like, whoops. And she already tossed it, and since the one who got angry when she got when the pot broke, she dodged it, and it hit a kangaroo with lots of hair, and then she fell into the mud.
So Mona's kind of causing trouble then for Diana.
Yep.
Okay.
And now they went to the beach again, and they spotted Tartarus.
The door to Tartarus.
The door to Tartarus. But that should never be opened. It's a place filled with monsters.
Oh.
That have already been fought off in there. Well, they went back down to where, near Diana's home, and Mona had glue in her hands, and one person was working on something with some things like hammers or screwdrivers, and she was hanging something up, and while she was busy, Mona took glue and painted it all over the tools, so she could not pick it up.
Oh, well, that's a very mean thing to do to a blacksmith.
Yeah, and they were both giggling. And then next, Pottery Girl just placed down one of her pots that she just did, and the next thing, Mona had a chicken in her hands and said, here, you do it. And then Diana grabbed the chicken and took the pot and placed the chicken down. And then when the Pottery Girl came back, she noticed it was a chicken instead of her pot. And they ran away with the pot. And then she said, don't need this anymore. And then they dropped it and it broke. And then Diana got called by her mom. And then she said to lie on the floor like she was hurt. And so she laid there, and they took her to the warming pool for when people are normally hurt. And
the healing pool.
The healing pool. And there seems to be nothing wrong with her on the scanner, so her mom got upset. And she thought she was just doing that to skip the test. And Diana said it was not fair for her to do the test and everyone else not.
Wait, what test? What are you talking about?
She had to do studies.
Yeah, she was skipping out of her studies, so she pretended to be hurt when she wasn't. That's what her mom was upset about, was that she was lying, and that's not a good thing. And it was Mona that taught her how to lie. Yeah. So Mona's kind of causing a lot of trouble for Diana.
Yep, but then Mona thought of something.
Okay. All right, so...
All right, but I forgot to tell you something. At the healing pools, she said to her mom if she had to do studies and no one else did, and everybody else was on Amazon, they were all being treated differently, and she didn't want to be treated that way. She wanted to be treated like an Amazon. Now, Mona gets a very, very bad idea. I told you about Tartarus, right?
Yep, you told us about Tartarus.
Well, Mona just got the worst idea ever. Way back when they were talking about it, only an Amazon could open up that door. You know, Mona got the very bad idea. She got an idea that to prove that Diana was an Amazon, they'd go to Tartarus and open up that door. And she said, don't worry, the latches would only hold it still.
She's just there to try to turn the doorknob, huh?
Yep, but it doesn't show. And you said we would stop here, but this is talking about a lot, so I'm going to go past the chapter.
Well, put a pin in it here with the story. We don't want to give away too much.
She was about to fight a cheetah, though.
Yeah. The question is, will Diana open the gate? Will she learn she's a true Amazon? We're going to put a pin in it.
I'm just going to say this funny part.
All right, real quick.
What was funny was they were just thinking about the doorway again, and they were talking about something, and she was like, Doom's doorway!
Yeah. If you want to find out what happens to Diana, pick up your own copy at the local library for Diana, Princess of the Amazons.
When we're done.
So we're not gonna talk any more about the story, Millie. But why don't you tell me a little bit about what you liked best about the book?
Well, I like best about the end.
Okay, well, without spoiling the end, can you say what you liked best about it?
No, because the end's only my favorite part.
How about this? How about do you like the book because Diana learns life lesson about who to trust and who to listen to?
And she should only listen to her mom, but can't I just go through the whole book, Dad?
All right, spoiler alert. If you don't want to find out who Mona's name is, fast forward for another 4 or 5 minutes. Go ahead. Tell them who Mona's name is.
Moana was not truly Diana's sculpture. She was Cersei, and all she wanted to do was be mean because she wanted her power ring back.
And where was her power ring?
In Tartarus.
Ah, yes.
That's why she wanted Diana to go open up the gate. That's all she wanted to do was get her ring back. But she wanted all those monsters to spread. She didn't really care about the Amazons. All she wanted was to get her ring back.
Yep. All right, so what life lessons do you think Diana learned from this book?
Who to trust. Never to trust anybody except for her mom. Because they could be non-Amazons. If she trusts them, she could lead into great trouble. But if she did get into any trouble with someone else, what she should think is, well, if we're like in a crush a pot or like swap something up for a chicken, maybe change her mind and not do it.
Well,
then she wouldn't get in trouble.
I think the life lesson here is that your parents kind of know best to help you out, but that you need to take your own life experiences and make your own choices and try to make good choices. Not necessarily who to trust and who not to trust. So it's important for one to go through some of these experiences and see that, hey, I could have did something a little bit differently there.
We already discussed my favorite part.
Okay. All right, Melody. So would you read another book by Shannon Hale and Dean Hale? If we had the opportunity?
And if it was a second or a whole bunch of Diana, Princess of the Amazons, I'd probably read them all.
Oh, okay. So this is definitely a book you'd read again and again and again?
Yep. I'd give it 1,000 stars.
Cool. All right. Well, what do you think of the artwork? I mean, what's it kind of say to you? What do you like best about it?
There is no movie, but it kind of looks like a good cartoon.
Yeah, it kind of has that cartoony style that we see with a lot of kids' books and young adult books. I definitely like it. I think it was a good book for you to read.
And I thought there was something funny about Cersei's powers.
Yeah, what was that?
She changed Amazons. Well, she changed Amazons from Amazons to pigs, goats, or cows, or even a chicken.
She turned them into animals, so they were
Amazons.
Amazons. Aminimals? Amazonials?
Amazons.
Amazons. I like that. That's a good one.
And
All right. Well, that's
when she did that, then she thought they were useless, so she could go in and get her ring back. But she got tied up by the lasso of truth from Diana's mom,
Hippolyta.
Hippolyta.
All right. All right. Well, I think that's all we have for tonight for Diana and the Princess of the Amazons. Well, if you liked hearing this, go check out Diana, Princess of the Amazons at your local bookseller, library, or big box store. All right. Well, I'm Matt D.
I'm Melody D.
Thanks for listening, and listen to other shows of ours at thecomicscornerbox.blogspot.com, our Facebook page, or on Apple Podcast,
Stitcher,
Google Podcast,
Spotify,
or Anchor.com. Anchor.fm. I'm sorry. Thanks for listening, and good night.
Bye-bye. 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 Bye.